This is NDTV and you're watching NDTV Prime.
Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of CNB BAZAAR BUZZ. We are getting close to our second festive season of the year. So I hope all of you are having a wonderful time with your friends and family, and we wish you a lot of happiness and joy at this time of the year. But that's not all we are here to do. We always bring you the very latest of what's happening in the world of wheels. Today's show is no different. The most anticipated bike from TVS in many years, the RR 310, we have the review. Ferrari celebrates its 70 years in style here in India too. And it's the diesel Jaguar XE. So the TVS bike is finally here. We spent months calling it the Akula. It is the RR 310 now as we know it, and it's been launched. It's been attractively priced. This is the bike that's come out of the collaboration with BMW. So much riding on it and so much excitement around it too. Is it as good as we expect it to be? Here's the complete review so you can find out.
It looks stunning and boasts of engineering inputs with 35 years of racing experience and loaded with top-notch components. It's the all-new TVS Apache RR 310, the flagship motorcycle from TVS Motor Company. And we get some time with the new Apache Race Replica 310 around a racetrack. We are at the Madras Motor Racetrack near Chennai, and we have with us the all-new TVS Apache RR 310, the first full-fed sport bike from TVS Motor Company.
And that's the all-new TVS Apache RR 310. It looks absolutely stunning, doesn't it? Well, the engine is shared with the BMW G310R, but everything else on this bike is brand new. And it's got top-notch components as well. It's got upside-down carb forks, carb suspension, brand new switchgear, and a brand new vertically stacked all-digital speedometer, which gives you a lot of information really. Trip meters, fuel consumption, instantaneous fuel consumption. It's even got a lap timer if you're in the mood for riding on a track. Now TVS is positioning this as a premium motorcycle. It's the first full-fed motorcycle from TVS Motor Company, and it's designed to give you the best of both worlds really. You can ride in the street, you can go touring on it, and you can do occasional track riding also.
It certainly has a lot of road presence and in fact looks like a bigger sport bike. And the attention to detail is evident from the bike's fit and finish and the premium components. The face has twin LED projector lamps flanked by LED blinkers on the fairing. There's a smartly designed LED tail light and a full digital vertically stacked instrument cluster. The fairing isn't just a cosmetic add-on, but has been designed after wind tunnel measurements and computational fluid dynamics. It's also designed to get cool air into the engine and hot air away from the ducts.
The new TVS Apache RR 310 is actually as good as it looks. Performance is absolutely spot on and handling is totally brilliant. We've been riding this here at the MMRT all day today, and the bike gives you confidence to push further, lean more into corners. And the more you ride, the more confident you get.
Our first ride is around a racetrack, so we'll reserve our remarks for ride quality and touring ability after a proper road test. But a day at the MMRT left little to complain about the Apache RR 310.
So who's this bike for? If you've been riding a 150-200cc bike and you want to graduate to your first entry-level performance bike, this bike is just a ride bike for you. It gives you almost everything. Good performance, great handling, and it will help you improve your riding skills every time you ride it around a racetrack or even you can go touring on it. On the flip side, if you're the kind of guy who needs a little punch, little extra punch, then that extra something is missing. It's a great all-round bike nevertheless, but that little extra which makes a bike really special, that something is missing in the RR 310.
Ferrari is celebrating 70 years, and we brought you that celebration from its headquarters in Maranello just a few weeks ago. But it's also taking that anniversary celebration to other markets. Now here in India, there's been a lot that's happened in both Delhi and Mumbai, and we have all those details for you. It's quite the spectacle.
Ferrari as an automaker and India have something rather important in common. Both were born in the year 1947, which means as India celebrated its 70th year as an independent nation, Ferrari celebrated its 70th anniversary as the world's most desirable automotive brand. A few weeks ago on the Car and Bike Show, we brought you the celebrations from the Ferrari home in Maranello, and now it's time to move the celebration closer to home. Now this is possibly the best way to spend a Sunday morning here in Delhi, with some red hot, literally red and hot metal. Now we're here for Ferrari's 70th anniversary celebrations. A whole bunch of owner cars here, from the classic 328 in front of me, which is probably my favorite because it still has that manual gated gearbox, to rare cars like the 458 Speciale and a whole bunch of other cars, including 3 Ferrari F12s, which is a rare combination here in India. Now these cars are going to go all the way to the track. We're going to only accompany them for a little bit out of the start point here, but as always, hot metal and some really nice engine notes to look out for as well. The celebrations in India, first in Delhi and then later in Mumbai, brought Ferrari owners from all over the country together in the spirit of the Cavallino to do what these cars are meant to do best: drive.
Well, India has always been on our mind for a couple of years. We want to do things that can convince people about our values, about our passion. We want to reach out to people who share those values with us, people who have passion for driving, who would like to join in our programs that we put together with like-minded people.
And like-minded people indeed. From little kids to adults, everyone here was present for the love of the brand, and as always, everyone seemed to be decked out in their best Ferrari gear too. The range of cars could have been wider, but since Ferrari has only had a recent presence in India, it was great to see almost all modern Ferraris all together at the same time. From the F430 to the 458 Italia to the 488 GTB in the mid-engine range to the California and the F12 in the front-engine category, there was something for everyone. A lucky customer even had the chance to take delivery of his brand new car at the event. Of course, we had to ask about the upcoming and highly anticipated Ferrari SUV.
I can tell you only one hint. I mean, of course, there's going to become the moment when we need to think about how to replace the GT4 Lusso. The GT4 Lusso has been launched recently, so it's still quite some time ahead of us. So we have the car for another 3 years approximately. And then the next model to come, we are discussing the different options that we see, how to further increase versatility, usability of a Ferrari for a larger crowd of people.
And then finally it was time to fire up those engines and head out. And what a sight for sore eyes it really was, seeing over 20 shiny Ferrari supercars take to the streets of the country's capital. A scene that we hope to see a lot more regularly for sure.
We'll take a very short break here on CNB Bazaar Buzz. We come back with plenty more, including a look at the new diesel Jaguar XE and answers to a lot of your questions. Stay tuned. Right, let's talk about that diesel XE. Now, when the sedan first drove into India, it was petrol only, and then there was a lot of demand for the diesel. So it's finally here. How does it drive? We'll tell you.
Jaguar XE has been around in India for over a year, and for most of its time it was only available with a 2-litre petrol engine. And this was one of its biggest Achilles heel, considering the fact that the Indian luxury car buyer still leans towards a diesel motor. But now Jaguar has finally given the XE a diesel. So let's see what it feels like and if it takes away from that edgy driving experience that the XE excels at. Now the engine under the hood is the 2-litre INGENIUM diesel that we've seen in a whole range of JLR products in the last couple of years. The XF, for example, gets this, the Discovery Sport from Land Rover gets it, the Evoque gets it as well. So does a diesel engine in a sportier sedan really sort of numb down the experience you get? Well, actually it does. But at the same time, there is a large market in India that wants a diesel engine, and it is a really practical and very fuel efficient engine. And with 177 horsepower, it isn't a slouch either. You also get upwards of 430 Newton meters of torque, but all that performance on paper doesn't really translate into a really quick car. 0 to 100 is dealt with in about 9 seconds, but strangely it actually feels much quicker, and that is because of that massive torque figure. It does get going really well when in gear or when you're rolling, and that's the main sort of plus point of the XE. The 2-litre motor is of course a 4-cylinder which is mated to an 8-speed gearbox, and as with most Jaguar and Land Rover cars though, the gearbox feels best and most responsive in the Sport mode, while in the standard D mode it is softer and more in line with bumper-to-bumper city traffic driving. What is also important to note is that unlike the Discovery Sport that gets variants with the same engine in a lower state of tune with just 147 horsepower, all of the Jaguar XE diesel variants, namely the Pure, Prestige and Portfolio, get the same 177 horsepower motor. Does it still feel sporty? Yes, it does, because of the fact that the steering geometry and the suspension still is absolutely on point. This is still one of the nicest sports sedans you can buy in this segment. Apart from the engine though, on the outside, there isn't anything really that distinguishes the diesel XE from its petrol brethren. Apart from that 20D badge on the boot of course, as compared to the 25T badge you get on the petrol. The only other difference in terms of exterior appearance is the twin exhaust pipe setup as compared to the individual dual exhaust that the petrol gets. On the interior too, there are no real differences, with the Jaguar XE's simple and minimalist interior styling still looking impressive after so many years. Sadly though, the infotainment system does not get features like Apple CarPlay, which is a big miss, and yes, leg space in the rear is still the lowest in the category. Priced between 36,60,000 and 44,71,000 rupees, the diesel is about 1 lakh rupees more expensive as compared to the petrol version. So, should you get it over the petrol? Well, if you do think sensibly, then it is an obvious yes, but if driving pleasure is what you really intend to get out of your luxury car, we would stick to that petrol.